As an autistic person, when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of friends, but I was lucky and fortunate to have a few friends though. And I did make a few moves to help make friends. But a lot of times when I was younger, I didn't find making friends as important until I got older. My biggest issue with making friends as a kid is not really so much of socializing, because it's easier to socialize when you're kids as opposed to when you're adults, where social interaction gets more complicated. There's more social rules. When you're a kid, you're just playing, riding bikes, walking around, exploring, and that's much easier to socialize. However, my issue when it came to socializing as a little kid was when we lived in the neighborhood, we would come and go spontaneously without really making phone calls. We would just kind of knock on the door, show up. And as an autistic person that sometimes needed my alone time rest, or sometimes I would get engaged in my own special interests, sometimes that would bug me. I had trouble communicating. I was busy, and so I would be kind of blunt about it, come across as rude or mean, and I'd feel kind of bad. The friends in the neighborhood still wanted to hang out, but I just kind of felt bad. For example, sometimes a friend would say, "Hey, come here, what's up?" Sometimes just bolt away, and I'd feel kind of bad. It wasn't that I wanted to just bolt away, I just had trouble communicating. Maybe we'll hang out in a little bit. I'm busy doing something right now. As a kid, 6, 7, 8, it was hard for me to communicate that. I had a few close friends, I had about 2 really close friends, and we used to hang out a lot, which was awesome. And those close friends that I did have really benefited my life, and you know who you are. But I didn't really take socializing seriously. I didn't try to learn the etiquettes, so sometimes I'd be kind of rude and not really realize it. Luckily, my close friends were understanding though. I lived in Massachusetts up until I was 13 years old, and then I moved to Michigan. Once I moved to Michigan, when I was in 8th grade all the way through high school, I took socializing much more serious. I tried to pay more attention to my social cues, what's the right and wrong things to say, and I started masking a whole lot more, as opposed to when I lived in Massachusetts, I didn't mask at all. A small benefit in the masking is as it did help me be more liked, get to know a whole lot more people, which wouldn't have been as tolerable like I was when I was in Massachusetts, when I didn't really pay attention to my certain cues, and when I would be rude, when I would do things that were like inappropriate. I would have probably had a really bad reputation at that time. Grosse Pointe was a really upscaled, wealthy area, and the people around here was much harder to socialize with. I joined the rowing team, and we were really close to all the team members. I wasn't really close per se as friendship wise, but close as strong acquaintances wise. But if I was more blunt like I was in Massachusetts, it would have not worked out too well. I probably would have been bullied more. It was good that my masking caused me to get bullied less. However, as a common problem with masking, you're not being your authentic self, and it can be exhausting over time, and it can lead to feeling depressed and down, and that's what kind of caused me to feel over the years. I felt like I didn't really know myself, and I felt like people didn't really know me for who I really was. A lot of people, Grosse Pointe, Michigan, did like me when I was in high school. However, I feel like it was because I was putting on a facade, and they didn't really like me for who I really was. And over the years, that started bothering me. After I graduated from high school, I went to college for about a year and a half, and then I moved to South Carolina. Let me tell you, I went to some crazy parties. Yes, I did the whole frat party thing. I drank and did the whole 9 yards. Yes, I had a ton of fun, but over time, I found I had more fun driving an hour back home to hang out with my developing neurodiverse friends, where I can be myself instead of mask. Many of these people in this close group of neurodiverse people that I hung out with also had autism like me. And let me tell you, I had some of the best times in my life hanging out with these people. Unfortunately, I had to stop hanging out with them regularly when I moved to another state in South Carolina. I still keep in touch with them on occasions though. I moved to South Carolina when I was around 21 years old, 22. When I moved to South Carolina, I decided to not mask as much and try to be more my authentic self, and that was great. This helped me attract people that like me for who I was, and it's a really great feeling to be yourself and be liked for who you really are. Friends that I do have like me for who I am, and that's a fantastic thing. Well, that's basically a quick summary of my life when it came to socializing and making friends as an autistic person.